Hi everyone, this is my run on the latest Despair Gathering from Afar Chaos, and this fight that you will see is the Chaos Challenge fight. And before we start, I'll just give a quick overview on the battle and the unit composition that I used. So this Chaos Challenge is a relatively easy challenge to complete. It has only one wave, comprising of the Planescourger Shinru, as well as X-Death, who has similar abilities as your own X-Death. Most of his abilities are gravity based. Now this fight overall is pretty straightforward. I guess the only danger is that both the Planescourger and X-Death has HP attacks, which they will do quite frequently throughout the fight. And so you want to try to heal yourself up as much as possible. Each of their HP attacks doesn't really do a lot of damage, but if they both do HP attacks on the same turn, then obviously it deals considerable damage to your party. And there are some ways to get around this. Before I get into the party composition that I used, just touching on the regular chaos fight, which is the same wave and the same enemies. For the regular chaos is even easier because you can use virtually any unit in your roster. Both X-Death and Shinru doesn't have any elemental resistance or resistance to any type of attacks. Along with that, because they frequently do HP attacks and target the entire party that you have, it's very easy to cheese the regular chaos. For example, you can utilize characters with HP disable, such as Arciela and Kefka. You can use Elnarch, who has the Terror debuff, which will lock both X-Death and Shinru. And of course, you can also use character delays, chief of which is Lion, who can delete the turns. In fact, I'll post a link in the description on my regular chaos run where I used two Lions to delete the turns, which actually makes both the Shinru and X-Death not able to get a single turn the entire fight. Of course, there are other delay characters as well, such as Quistis, Arania, or General Leo, who should do quite well in the regular chaos fight as well. Now for the chaos challenge, this time there are 6 synergy characters. There is the first 3 from the previous banner, which is Ardyn, Liliset, and Maria. And then on the latest banner, you have Rinoa, Kane, and Elfinot. So you can use any combination out of these 6. And for me, I used the party that you see here, Rinoa, Ardyn, and Maria. I got lucky enough to pull Maria's LD from the banner. I still don't have Ardyn's burst, and I don't want to waste more resources trying to pull for his burst. And Maria was from the previous Chaos Challenge that I built her up to 0 out of 3. So, as I mentioned, the only possible danger here is that both Shinru and X-Death use HP attacks quite frequently. And I use this party because both Rinoa and Maria can heal. So Rinoa from her Angelo stance can do a burst heal, and Maria, of course, from her second skill also does party-wide burst heal as well. You don't really need both of them. I feel just having one healer out of the 2 is adequate to heal yourself for the fight. And of course, if you have Ardyn with his LD, it makes him immortal, so the HP damage done to him doesn't really matter anyway. And because this fight frequently does a lot of HP damage to your party, some notable summons include Odin, who raises your attacks permanently by 30% if your HP falls below 80%. And another option is Leviathan as well, which will give you a passive Brave Regen if your HP falls below 80%. So you can consider other characters as well. Rinoa is actually pretty good because he also has healing built into his kit, and he is a very powerful support. I didn't use him because I kept him at base EX and I didn't want to waste more resources leveling him since I already powered up my Rinoa for this fight. Lilyset is okay as well. She gives some nice debuffs to the enemy party, which helps you manage the incoming wave damage. But other than that, there's nothing much else other than trying to keep yourself topped up in the HP department while you whittle down the fight. And I'll go through it more into the strategy throughout the fight. So if that's it, let's move on to the fight. Okay, so starting off, it's much better if you can get Ardyn to move first, because he can then use Warp Strike on both Xdev and Shinryu to build up his Spectral Charge stacks to the maximum of 5 stacks right at the start of the fight. If not, it doesn't really matter because you do have quite a few opportunities before his first EX anyway, but it is quite beneficial to try to reach 5 stacks as soon as possible. Rinoa with her LD is very strong in this Chaos Challenge. She has insane longevity with her skills, and you can use her HP plus attack in either stance to still deal quite a lot of damage. So start of the fight, Shinryu already does some nice group HP damage to the party. In the Chaos Challenge, if you use synergy characters, as I mentioned, it's not too dangerous because of the synergy boost. Your party has considerable HP, close to the 20,000 mark. So even eating 7,000 to 10,000 HP damage still gives you plenty of room to play with. And as long as you keep an eye on your HP and try to heal up right after you suffer the party-wide HP damage, then the fight isn't really that dangerous. So because of that, I used Maria to use her S2 to heal my party back up to full. Another thing to note is Ardyn's LD buff, the overkill, should last the entire fight, so long as you only refresh when his previous overkill buff is at 1 charge or just ran out. And with his overkill buff, he is of course immortal. And because of that, if both Xdev and Shinryu is targeting Ardyn, you can go all out with your party, because even if they break your party and kill Ardyn, I mean he can't die anyway. So you can take that opportunity to go all out on the HP damage. The thing to watch out for is when either of the Shinryu or Xdev targets your party. In that case, you should play a bit more cautiously, because that could be potential group AoE HP damage coming in. You can comfortably tank one of them, but if both are targeting the entire party, that's when you need to be really careful, because the only thing dangerous about this Chaos Challenge is back-to-back HP damage from both Xdev and Shinryu. If you can find opportunities to heal in between, then their HP damage can't really kill you when you are coming from full HP. So in terms of the targeting order, on hindsight, I think the best strategy here is to target either one of the two, so either Xdev or Shinryu, and focus that down until that target is at 50% health, at which point you then switch targets to the second target. And the reason for this is they get significant boost to their stats, including defense, when they are at a 50% health. So if you continue targeting the same unit from the 50% mark onwards, your brave damage is significantly reduced, making it a bit more challenging to deal HP damage. Whereas if you switch targets after that and target the other one, you can then let splash or AoE HP damage continue to chip down the HP of your first target. Who you choose to target first, I don't think really matters. Both of the Shinryu and X-Dev are pretty similar in terms of threat level. Of course, that strategy I think is the most turn efficient, because if you execute it well, then technically you would be killing both Shinryu and X-Dev at roughly the same time, and you maximize the amount of turns where you deal brave damage to a target that has unbuffed defenses. Of course, if you feel it's too dangerous to leave both X-Dev and Shinryu alive, another alternative strategy I think is to just burst one down and as quickly as possible, because when only one target is left alive, then obviously the incoming HP damage to your party is significantly reduced, and it's very difficult to die to just one target of either X-Dev or Shinryu. Doing that, however, I think would be significantly less turn efficient, because that will then involve continuing to target the same target even after the 50% mark. And then when only one target is left, you have to go through the whole thing again and continue to target it down. And you lose a lot of splash damage that you would have otherwise be able to do when both targets are up. Other than that, if you have Ardyn's burst, you can save it as an emergency button in case you need to buy yourself a few additional turns. The good thing about his burst is, of course, you get another use of his LD, which gives you another 8 turns of his overkill in case you find yourself running short. But again, so long as you approach this fight with an efficient way to whittle down both targets, Ardyn's LD buff should be able to last quite nicely throughout the fight. It did for me. It sort of nearly ran out at the end, but I comfortably managed to complete the fight before his LD buff ran out. Likewise, I also saved my summon as an emergency button. You can see over here that both my Rinoa and my Ardyn took quite a lot of HP damage. Again, because I incorporated 2 healers here, even at rate HP, just using healing abilities on both Rinoa and Maria is enough to bring my party back to full HP. Other than that, there really is nothing else noteworthy of this fight. You don't need very well geared party members because of the relatively easier difficulty of this chaos challenge. So if you feel you have under geared characters, you can still give this chaos challenge a try. Many other people have completed the chaos challenge with also under geared characters, and examples of these include Elfinot with just his 15 and 35 CP, or 0 or 1 out of 3 Liliset, or Maria. So I'll just fast forward the rest of the fight to keep the video length shorter, because other than what I've mentioned, there isn't anything much else to take note of in this chaos challenge. Go Angelo! Go Angelo. Being shot out of a cannon towards a golden dragon must be pretty painful. Anyway, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoy the video, and as always, do leave a like, leave a comment, or subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and I'll see you in the next chaos fight. Bye bye.